I'm ready. Hey, we're back. Here we
Hey,
go.
there we are.
Welcome back,
Good evening,
everybody.
everybody.
To
I don't see Ron. What? We
I
don't
see Ron. You see Ron?
I don't see him.
You don't see him?
There he is.
There he is. Well, welcome to Fishing Adventures Florida Insider Podcast, which is our fishing report
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit of everything. And today we've got our third member of the family, which never shows up because he likes to take his afternoon naps.
Yeah, he likes to play hooky a lot.
Captain Ron. Somebody's got a nap, right?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
works a lot.
We got Donald on the line already. And, I was just listening to the news, and they're talking about a real wet winter this year. Instead of the summer, it's going to be a real wet winter. And the guy was talking back the same scenario that happened back around 1997. And I go back and I think, that December, everything was flooded. Remember, we had 10, 12 days of steady rain. Mm-hmm. And then the beginning of January was the same way. We had like almost 3 weeks of rain, heavy rain every day. Everything was flooding. They said we're going to have that some kind of a cycle like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, everything balances out. If you got a bunch of big dry spell, you can guarantee pretty soon you're going to have a big wet spell. So, or vice versa. Usually it'll balance itself out. That's what Mother Nature does.
And I want to say a few things. Ron, you didn't get a chance to go with us, but Mike and I went over to Ocala to this little, what do they call it, expo?
Yeah, it's the Nature Coast Outdoor Show.
Yeah. And we got to meet some really nice people. And we got to meet this one guy, Bob, from, it's called Diamonds Aren't Just for Girls.
Yep.
And he makes all these lures.
Yeah, I got a couple hanging up.
Yeah.
But this is kind of what he does here. And he hand paints all these.
Spray paints them, hand paints them.
Yeah.
He's on a wheelchair.
Right here.
He's a guy that, he's one of these guys that we love that doesn't want to sit around and have the government pay for everything. He wants to be able to self-support himself. So he's in a wheelchair and he buys this and he says he makes all these different lures, top water, everything. And if he's got somebody that says, hey, there's a particular color that I want, he'll custom make it for him.
Yeah.
You tell him if you want like a top water plug, you tell him which size and he'll get them and he'll paint them any color you want. And I tell you what, he does a super nice job.
They are. I looked at them quite a bit today, and it's very clean. He's got some real good detail in there, and he can actually paint logos if you want. He can personalize it in any way, shape, or form. So it's pretty cool.
Oh,
nice guy.
I can see Captain Ron's top water plug. I think he is, because let me tell you, you got to have a good hand to do the job that he did. And now look at these lures that we picked up, and they're really, it's not, I've seen some where somebody tries to make them and you say, well, that's not bad. These things are really nice.
Uh-huh.
I got to compliment the guy.
Yeah.
They're really nice lures.
They are.
So
no issues there. Well, we got to see, let's say hello to Lisa. She was there at the CCA.
Lisa Fitzgerald's there, and they came out with something. Here it is. Now, you see that, Ron? Can you read it? Yeah. It's pretty neat. Now, it's only good for a year at a time. But all you got to do is set the time of day, the month, and the date, and it gives you the sunrise, the moon phase, everything.
Yeah.
Of course, hey, I go to my GPS or my phone and hit it, and I get the same thing. But for the people who don't know that this is, and it's free, they were giving them out. So it's a free.
This is the original Doug Hanna moon clock. Yeah. He even got his signature on it. Yeah.
And Doug was a real smart guy.
Yeah.
I grew up with Doug, and I got to know him when I used to do ESPN radio. Once a year, he would do the radio show with me. And he reminded me of Einstein, because, Einstein was so smart that some kid one day went to him with a simple mathematical problem. And he said, man, he couldn't figure that out because he was up here. Well, Doug was that way. Doug was so smart, but he used to tell me every year, now, Sergio, you got to come and pick me up because I ain't driving from Land O'Lakes to St. Pete. I'll get lost. He said, I'm not driving. You want to pick me up and take me to the show? I'll do the show with you. But, you know, the last time I had spent some time with him, he sold to, I think was Pure Fishing or one of them. Mm-hmm. He had this, in fact, we did a show for Bright House with this. He had this liquid. And what you did is you had all these shiners in your bait well. And then you shut everything off and you squeeze 4 or 5 drops of this stuff in your bait well. And you thought the shiners all died. They all would go to the bottom and just lay flat. And what it does, it puts them like into a sleep mode. And then when you put it on the hook and you cast it out and they hit regular water, boom, they came back to life. It was amazing. We caught a bunch of bass that way.
Interesting.
And about 6 or 8 months later, after he patented and had it all done, we were testing it out. I think somebody like Pure Fishing came along and bought it.
Wow. Huh.
And you know, the guides on your years ago when they came out and everybody was saying, well, oh, that's stupid. Remember the guides that they had the little ring and went to a small guide?
Yeah.
And he's the one that said, no, the bigger the guide, the more spin your line gets, the shorter the casting distance because of friction. And people are like, you're stupid. You want big guys, let that line get out. What happens now? All the new rods, the last 6, 7 years, all the guys now, you look at my rods, some of them are so little, you say, man, how can the line do there? But it does, it gives you more distance. Yeah. So the guy was a genius. He held all the patents for the trolling motor blades. So every time you bought a blade for your Minn Kota, he got a little bit of it.
A royalty of it.
Yeah, royalty out of it. And he invented that. He patented all of those back when he was in college.
Huh.
Hey, the guy was a genius.
Interesting.
When it came to
something I didn't know about him.
He was the best.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. He just studied it.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Haynes was, if Mike Haynes would have probably met him many years ago, he would have been really good at it too. But oh, God.
Yeah, it was neat. It's definitely a beautiful place. It's at the World Equestrian Center, which I've been there several times, especially at Christmas. They've got a beautiful Christmas display that they put there, and it's just a neat place to look around and walk around. They've got some great food there. Oh my word! And yeah, it's a nice place to go. It's just huge. Did you look around there, Sergio?
God, yeah. It's
just massive.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
I mean the property. Oh, Ron, you would love the property.
It'd be right up Ron's alley to go to. So you need to.
But
when Christmas comes around, you need to come up. We'll go hang out up there for a while.
Because this expo isn't gigantic, and it's only like a few little Sea Pro boats on it. A lot of it was ATV, all-terrain vehicles, and dog food, and a little bit of fishing, but a lot of freshwater mostly. But yeah, the thing is, they were smart. They opened at 9, closed at 5, and they're only open one day. Saturday. Yeah. And when I got there about 10 o'clock, Mike got there about the same time. That parking, there were no place to park. They had they were air cars. I mean, that place was packed.
Yes.
The whole day. When we left, there was people coming and people going. So that was smart. You make it one day. It's an area that's not going to draw 3 days of public.
No.
So you kind of make everybody come in one day, make it worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of people there.
Oh,
yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm telling you, I hope all these guys that are listening and tuning in is, man, I tell you what, we're filming Wednesday. I got charters Thursday and Friday, and I'm dreading it. I'm really,
yeah,
I'm not kidding you. By 11:30, the heat is so intense that I don't care if the fish are trying to jump in the boat. I tell you, they probably want to get in the boat to cool down.
Yeah. Well, I've got 5 days in a row this week, and yeah, I'm going to be done. It's going to be 2 days off, and then I've got another 4 days after that. So those 2 days, I'm just going to be laid up.
Because the next time we see him, you're going to see wrinkles under his eyes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna look at reverse. It's called the reverse raccoon. Kind of a combination of both. I've got a couple days of fishing, couple days of fishing and scalloping. So yeah, it's quite a bit. The scalloping tends to slow down about mid-August. I mean, we still do them, but yeah, you just don't have the tourist type thing because school started and all that. So usually what happens is my regular clients won't call me till after school's done and then want to go because it's much quieter, much peaceful out there. Yeah. And honestly, there's plenty of scallops out there still. So people are getting their limits even now. So it's really, really, it's nice. It's just hotter than blazes. And so we'll fish for a couple hours in the morning and then swim for a couple hours and call it a day and hopefully be back on the dock by 1 o'clock. So we'll see.
That's smart because if you fish early in the morning while it's cool, and then when the heat starts to come up, then you hit the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a good way of doing it.
Yep. All right, we want to get a report on since we got 6 on today.
But why don't we start with? Let's start with we got a new captain, Nick Gonzalez, that is starting giving the fishing report. And you got to give him some space, people. Remember, this is all brand new to him. He's never done it before, but he's going to start giving us a fishing report in Tampa Bay area.
Yep.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Captain Nick Gonzalez with My Time Fishing Charters right here in Tampa Bay, Florida. I'm going to go over a little scouting report, a little fishing report for you guys to be aware of what's going on here in the Bay this week. Starting off with mangrove snapper, go to any type of rock pile, little baits, chum them up, drift them back. There's a ton of them out there. They're in their full spawn right now. There's a lot of snapper meat to go around. Good tacos out there. As for redfish and snook, they're in the mangroves, they're in the cover, in the shade. It's a little cooler in there. Water temps are pretty hot. If you're not getting them with live bait so much, I would definitely suggest a little cut bait action. Nice little McChicken, McFish, throw it underneath the mangroves, let it sit for a while. It's been a lot of quality fish being caught that way. And as for trout, they're sitting on the sides of the shoals, they're still on the grass flats. Look anywhere from like 4 to 8 feet of water and cover ground until you find them. Once you find them, they're gonna be schooled up, and that's when you can go in and target them like crazy. But that's gonna be it for the inshore fishing report this week. My name is Captain Nick Gonzalez with My Time Fishing. If you'd like to book a charter, you can go to mytimefishing.com, and I'll see you guys out on the water.
All right, thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Now, talking to some of the captains yesterday, they're saying, Sergio, you got to pitch underneath the mangroves because the water's so hot. And he said, when you think you got your bait way under there, you got to get it even further in. Mm-hmm. If you don't get that bait way, way back in there, he said those snook are sitting almost on the shore underneath those mangroves because it's so hot that they're trying to stay in as much shade as they can get. And then the other thing, too, is, and one of the things that he mentioned is cut bait. Cut bait's going to be the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be the pattern here as well. Is you're going to find a few fish hanging, out away from the mangroves, but it's usually when the tide is transitioning. They're going to be on the points where you got a lot of water movement and some mullet and some activity moving on. But once it gets to a certain level, then those fish are just so far back in there, and you pretty much have to skip it. And honestly, using cut bait, chunk bait is the easiest way to skip it because you're skipping it as far back in there as you can. Because if it's on the edge, if you're on the edge of the mangrove, if it's anywhere near that sun, you're not getting bit. You can sit there for a long time. You really have to pitch it back there. That just seems to be the pattern here as well.
Now, Ron, at night on your docks, what are you seeing?
Wow.
Around the lights.
Yeah. What size is the bait? Yeah. Yeah, and that's the key at night is matching that bait that's around, because that's what they're feeding on. So you got to go real small.
The other thing too, now the shrimp is still real small.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, real small. And I was shocked how much the cost of shrimp has gone up in Tampa Bay. Now I knew down south where Orlando lives, it's always been expensive. But my God, I was at O'Neill's and used to go in there anytime and get 50 shrimp, and they don't select, they don't select anything. They just scoop them up, count, and put them in there. So you get small, medium, large, extra large. It was a good deal. 50 shrimp for $15. I was there the other day, and $5 a dozen.
Yeah. And
I looked in the pen, and I don't think the biggest one was maybe 2 inches long.
Yeah.
Some of them, unless you use like a number one hook, you try a 1-aught hook or 2-aught hook and you break them in half.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't even be allowed to be sold in the month of August. They're so little.
Yeah. Yeah. Say hey, of course, Donald is on there, our stalker fan. He's always on there. Jessica's on tonight, Dennis, and then who did else I would see? Alejandro is on
there. Yep. He's on there. Jessica, everybody is on there. So yeah, the thing is, so maybe Ron, they might just be feeding a lot at night because of this heat during the day. If you got that many, if you try catching any, see if anything was biting. I know you don't want to hurt the family.
Yeah, it is. There you go.
It's a pretty sight, but I tell you what, it's maybe one of the things I ought to do one night is hit those docks all through, south of Gandy, all through there. There's a lot of docks with lights on, and I bet you there's got to be a lot of fish on them at night because they're not there during the day. They're spooky.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then I'm sure they're probably, well, a lot of them are starting to go offshore for spawning as well, or are coming back from spawning.
Yeah, they should be coming back from spawning now.
Yeah,
this is
coming back from spawning. So I wouldn't doubt they're going to be coming in here soon. But they say they can't hear you there, Ron. Donald's having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
Yellow. Well, we can hear them just fine, but
yeah. So
hold on, maybe turn it up.
Turn up the volume, Donald.
Turn the volume up there. Hold up.
Well, I'm not as loud as Sergio, so few of us are.
Now, as far as and next week it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got the guy from the Dolphin Deterrent. He's going to be on from Australia with us.
Yeah, we haven't tried that yet.
No. And he's got the one for sharks too. So, but the Dolphin one I really want to try, but there's not a lot of instructions with what he gave us. So I want to make sure I do it right. I think it turns on by itself when it hits the water, and it turns off when you take it out of the water. Gotcha. I don't see, there's no switch, there's nothing. There's just a battery in the system with a seal. So I'm sure it's a contact thing that when when water makes contact with 2 points on the outside, it automatically triggers it on.
So you say he has one for shark as well?
Yeah, the one for shark looks more like a pin. Looks something like this.
I need to.
And it's electronic.
I can easily test that one out for shark here.
Yeah.
There's not a time that right now that I'm going into the flats around a mangrove around some of my spots that I'm not bothered by shark. I mean, there seems to be every place I go to, there's a shark. So that'd be interesting to try that.
Well, what he did say was don't leave it in the water. Only put it in the water when you see a shark.
Correct.
Or see a dolphin, so they don't get used to it.
Yeah.
So,
well, it makes sense.
Right, and that's what I said. Yeah, if the dolphin come around, you put it in the water, they'll go away. Take it out of the water, and they'll stay away. And if they come back later on, you put it on again. But you don't want to leave it on all the time, I guess. And he'll explain that next week because I want a little more explanation. At ICAST, it's kind of hard to get a lot of information because everybody's so busy, running around.
Right.
So we'll see what's going to happen at that point. And then we got the boat show coming up at the end of September.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we'll be out there again.
And it's going to be fun. I just want to see what the interest rates are going to do. I think that's what's holding boat sales down is the interest rates.
Yeah.
And prices.
This economy is very volatile. So, Lord knows.
Ryan, you deal more with interest. You're out there more with that kind of stuff. How's the interest rates doing?
Well, they've been going up a little bit the last week or two.
They went up?
Yeah. So gotten a little high again, but with boats, I mean, I think a lot of it is just simply the boat prices.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, when you think that a little 21-foot boat is 80, 90,000, and I'm talking about what I call an entry boat, not a name brand. I mean, a 22-foot Pathfinder is 110,000, 115,000, and if you go back just 6-7 years ago, they were 50-something, 60,000.
Yeah.
Almost doubled. And it's tough for the average guy to be able to do that. Of course, they're extending the financing on it now. I mean, some of these boats are going 20 years like a house, like a market.
Yeah. That's a little, because I remember years ago, I mean, they wouldn't do anything more than 4 or 5 years. Some of them would only do 4 years. You had to get it paid off quick because they knew it wouldn't last
Not
long.
anymore. Yeah, okay. Donald said that's better.
He can hear.
Yeah, he can hear better now. Okay.
All right. We want to hit another report?
Yep, let's get Tony Franklin.
Okay.
Hi, Captain Tony Franklin back once again with this week's fishing report. The weather's been really hot outside, so it's really important to obviously stay hydrated, but on the fishing concept part of it, you want to get out there very early as you possibly can, beat the heat, be off the water by 11:30, noon at the latest. The bait's pretty small in the grass flats right now, downsized to a number 1 hook. I've also downsized the leader size down to a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader, sometimes using 25. When we're fishing for the mangrove snapper, they see it pretty easy, so we downsized the number 1 hook and the 20-pound fluorocarbon for the mangrove snapper. Mangrove snapper bite's been good around the range markers, also been good around rocks, jetties, any kind of inshore structure. We've actually this week been catching quite a few of them on the grass flat areas. Also in the grass flat areas, little deeper grass flats, we're fishing a little deeper because the water's warm. The speckled trout have moved to 6 to 8 feet of water, so you want to go a little bit deeper than normal. Water temperature is a little cooler on the deeper flat. You want to look for nice grass on that flat, but the trout bite has been really good, and the key is fishing a little deeper water on the grass. There's been some Spanish mackerel around, but they're farther towards the south end of the bay, so you're going to have to travel a little farther to get to those. But there have been some Spanish mackerel around. Bonnethead sharks have been around. There's been ladyfish if you're just looking for action. Plenty of ladyfish out there. Like I said, the mangrove snapper bite's good. We are catching some redfish, just not a lot. Snook bite's been pretty tough this week. It worked better early in the week with the heavy incoming, fast incoming tide. So there's fish out there. The key, like I said, get out there, fish early. There's also been some pompano around the bridges. If you're using some jigs or a little bit of shrimp, there's been some pompano around the bridges. So there's plenty of action out there. So get out there, catch some fish, tight lines. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Something he said, I just wondered, last week we had high tides all day in the morning. I just wondered if a low tide would be better because of the heat. I know that's tougher, but if the fish can't get into the mangroves, it's going to force them out closer to the edge.
Yeah.
Because we've had some pretty high tides last week.
Yeah.
And I know those fish were way under there.
Right. Yeah. Well, last week, the week before, because I didn't really get on the water last week, it seemed like the outgoing tide was the better bite of the day than the incoming. The only time it was really, really good is, say, the first hour or so of the incoming. But that outgoing tide seemed to be the kicker, which is weird because you'd think just the opposite. The incoming tide be cooler since it's out there and it mixes with a little cooler water, and then coming in, you got that high tide way up in the mangroves, that just gets heated up and all that kind of stuff, and then pushes out. So there's a lot more heat in it. But honestly, it
Mike, last Friday out by Egmont in that area, 91.6 degrees was the water temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the bay, 89.
Yeah.
89.2, something like that. It was 2 degrees cooler inside Tampa Bay than it was around the Skyway Bridge in Egmont last Friday.
Yeah. And it, I don't
know why. You would think from the Gulf it would be cooler, right? Because you got
Right.
deeper water, it doesn't heat up as much, and it comes in. So,
yeah. The only thing I think of is that that water going across the grass, across all that stuff, the rocks, everything else, the life that's really down there. There's less algae, so maybe all that cooler water is really doing, pushing in a little bit better through the tides than what we think. The surface temperature may be completely different, and you get that wind blowing and that sun on it. It doesn't matter. So maybe it's just
and the
it's
water
gonna be a better mix.
All through Egmont, where normally I go, and Ron, where you and I went, you normally can see the bottom, 7-8 feet of grass flats. You can see the bottom. It reminded me a little bit about like Key West, where the way it was getting, it was like milky color, not dirty, not brown, but like a milky color. Like somebody put a little bit of milk in it, and it wasn't just, how can I say it? You could see down a couple of feet. But normally around Egmont, I can see down 7-8 feet. You can see the bottom, see the grass down there, see all the stuff down there. It wasn't like that. So I don't know if maybe all that rain has something to do with it, but it wasn't wash off, because wash off usually turns it kind of chocolate color, muddy color. This was just milky looking color, salt water. So I don't know.
Yeah, last week we didn't have a ton of rain. I know we had a few days, but not a ton. But I got a report yesterday. Somebody hollered at me saying that they were out at the scallop grounds, which was normally clear at a certain area, because they called me for some numbers. He said, "It's dirty as all get out here." And I'm going, "Really?" Because that week before it was crystal clear, beautiful. So they had to go. He said he went farther south than he's ever been just to find clear water for scalloping yesterday. So not sure. Not sure if it's the rain, the wind, it's just a pattern that seems to, the cycle of the tides from down south to up north. Who knows? But the water was a little dirty yesterday here as well.
Huh. That's kind of strange,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, well, again, now some of the guys said they were catching some mango snapper. No flounder. Haven't heard anything about flounder. Tony mentioned something about mackerel. There was not one mackerel around the Skyway Bridge last Friday. Not one. I mean, I went to the rock jetties in front of the South Pier. I went around the north end of the South Pier. I was all over. There was 3 or 4 or 5 other boats. Nobody was catching nothing. When Ron and I went, I mean, at least we were catching some mango snapper, started catching some small grouper. We didn't even get a bite. We had live greenbacks, we had cut bait, everything. We floated it with a float, we casted it with a split shot. I mean, we were all around the rocks. And yeah, we did get one big, which I hadn't caught one in years, a robin fish. Remember them?
Mm-hmm.
You seen them, Ron?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't seen one in years. This was a big old robin fish about this big. Had those pretty, because they like flying wings.
Yeah.
And we got a couple of beautiful toadfish. They were nice.
Yeah, Sergio caught a real nice one.
Yeah.
Really.
And two friendly catfish.
Huh?
Yeah, we got that. And we did see a school. I thought it was mackerel. First thing in the morning after we got our bait, and I picked up my people going to Egmont. About halfway to Egmont, between the Skyway and Egmont, man, there was birds jumping all over the place. The water was boiling. I said, big school of mackerel. No, big school of ladyfish.
Oh,
I mean, there must have been 3,000 ladyfish in this school. Unbelievable, you know.
so it was a trash fish day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I've had
never
those.
worked so hard to catch a few fish. When I got back to the dock, I'm talking to a bunch of the guys that were all having the same problem. You don't see, well, first thing, there wasn't a lot of people in the water fishing. I'll tell you that. Even for a Friday, that there wasn't a lot, you know. And some of the boats that I saw, they were going offshore. They just kept going out past Egmont, going deeper. Inshore, there wasn't that many boats fishing. I think there was 3 or 4 around the pier. There was 3 or 4 around Egmont, but you know, nothing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's again school season. We call it school season. Things get a little quieter out there. And I mean, I even notice, you know, there's not as many boats out there as usual. But the fishing here has been improving. We haven't had any issues. The redfish bite has just been phenomenal lately. And now we're getting those big schools of bulls coming in. So it's going to get better. And I've got reports of some good trout caught as well. So September's looking good so far, hopefully.
I just hope we start getting some cool weather.
Yeah, I think Saturday they said the high up here was only going to be about 88, 89. You know, humidity really don't matter. It's just going to be humid. But as far as the temperatures, I think it's supposed to cool down just a few degrees, you know, from death hot to just hot.
Well, every little bit helps. All right, let's get Jessica's fishing report in.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Captain Jessica Honovic with the Old Hookem Charters out of Chaskawiska, Florida. I haven't been able to do much fishing because I've been sick for the past couple of weeks, but I started to feel a little bit better. So Thursday we went out, personal trip. We hit that high tide. We did have shrimp and frozen mullet. I did catch some black drum and some sheephead and some reds, but the bite is definitely harder with shrimp because there is so much bait right now. So I would recommend using cut, pinfish, mud minnows. We did catch a nice 28-inch red. Saturday we went out of Homosassa instead, and we did hit that high tide. The bite was definitely slow. The tide wasn't rolling in strong. We did use some mud minnows that day, and we did have shrimp. I lost a big snook, probably almost 40 inches off a mud minnow. Here's my nice bruise. He almost took my rod right out of my hand. So like Mike said, I seen his captain's report. Timing. So I would do that low tide up until that high tide, or maybe 30 minutes after high tide going into that low tide to get some more moving water. The water was super hot. So we haven't had rain in about, I guess, a week and a half. So we really need to get some more rain to cool that water down. But if you would like to come see Chaz, fish it, take a cruise, or do a river day, just let me know. You can call me at 352-464-7309. Tight lines.
Thanks, Jessica. Yeah, I've fished with her. Jessica's pretty fun. She's got a lot of energy. So if you want a good day out there, go fishing with her. I need to get back over there to the Chaz. She's come over here and fished with me here, but I have yet to fish the Chaz, and I know you guys did.
Yeah, we usually.
I've really got to knock that off my list.
Oh no, it's nice in the winter, especially.
Yeah. It's cold, but you know what? It's no bugs, because I tell you what, this time of the year, it's got to be a lot of bugs there.
Actually, no. I mean, not as bad. Actually, the wintertime, to me at least, the no-see-ums are horrible in the wintertime.
we never had no problem with that, huh, Ron?
No, we stay inside.
No, but you're on the boat during the day.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, anywhere between the say 60 degrees through, upper mid 80s, somewhere in there, it's just horrible. I mean, in the wintertime, because you get your fluctuations. Once it's really cold, you don't notice them.
Usually we've been going January or
Yeah,
February.
not as bad, but if it's a still day out there and there's some sun out, those little suckers will get you. I mean,
They gotta eat too,
every winter I'm at the fillet station because it's right there on the water. And you're doing this.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
It's a pain.
You got to fillet the fish.
Yeah, and you can't really do this to
you don't want to do it. I talked about
bloody
one
hands.
day about 3 years ago. He was filleting and a mosquito was on him, and he went like this with the knife, and he cut him. So he cut. He said, "Oh my God!" When I almost tried to stop myself, and he got a little cut because, just instinct.
Yeah,
boom, get rid of that mosquito, but he had the knife in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Donald, but we keep. How'd you do last weekend, Donald? Did you catch anything?
Yeah. Anybody listen? You got a picture you want to post? Just put it up there. We'll get it on there.
If you'll send us some pictures, we'll put some of his pictures up because Donald usually does pretty good every time he goes out there. And we'll see what happens. And Ron, you might not be able to make it Wednesday to film. Man, I hope you do.
Well, probably 50-50.
Well, hey, I hope it's a 50 good part that you can go.
Yeah.
Well, you going to come up swimming with me next week?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And we're bringing the ladies. They're going to get all the scallops.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They will.
You see that this is a smart thing. Ron and I got it all programmed. We videotape it underwater. Holta videotapes it from the top, and the girls catch all the scallops.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, Sergio, I have a feeling we're going to be the ones cleaning them.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. I think Mike says he was really good.
No. Nope. I don't remember any part of that conversation.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to. Listen, if you show me how to clean the first 100, I'll catch on.
Hey, I may go ahead. We'll put a few in the cooler at first, and we'll give you the raw ones. We'll do the raw scallops. You ever done it?
Listen, right now I'm not eating anything that's raw. There's too much stuff going around.
Okay.
Just in case. I'll get mine cooked, steamed, whatever.
All right.
Raw right now, I ain't touching it. I want to be on the safe side.
Okay. I got you. Chicken.
Hey, call me anything you want, but I'll be safe. Hey, a safe chicken is better than a dead one.
Yeah, I hear you. Put a little lime juice on; it'll get rid of it all.
Yeah, that's true. The guy said.
Hey, Josh. Josh is late to the party, but he is here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Donald. Yes, I misspoke. I meant junkie, not stalker. He says he's our junkie.
Yeah. All right, and he says his next big outing is August 29th, in a couple of weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right. Well, let's see, because we got a lot of fishing reports today. Let's get Michael Dawson.
Okay.
Hi guys, Captain Michael Dawson here of Patriotic Guide Service, here with this week's fishing report and forecast. So the amazing weather we've had this week, we've been concentrating our efforts into the offshore bite. The inshore bite's been a little slower, catching a few redfish here and there in cut bait, some big snook around, but they're definitely a little lethargic with this high temperature we've had this week. But offshore bite has been really good, and that's where it's at. If you can get to the offshore, nearshore bite, that's where it's going to be happening right now. Grouper season coming up, so we're doing a lot of pre-scouting for our grouper, catching a lot of these big gags, and almost getting a limit of big mangrove snapper every trip out there. The key right now is to get out there and chum really heavy. Get out there. I like to chum for 10-15 minutes before I even put a line in the water. Gets the fish really fired up. We have these gags almost hitting top water plugs out in 30 feet of water, and they will be hitting top water plugs when we're fishing them in the 8 to 12 feet of water. Mangrove snapper, take a little piece of sardine, a little piece of a whitebait, drift it back free line after chumming heavy, and you'll get them to hit it every time. If the bait gets a little too low in the water column, that's when you start getting the gags to eat them. So it's still a great time. Anywhere from 8 to 15 feet of water, we've been catching most of our gags in right now. And 15 to 30 has been that mangrove snapper bite. A lot of these fish with a mangrove snapper are 4 to 5 pound range, so some really nice ones. 20-pound leader seems to be the key. Anything heavier, the water's so clear they won't hit it. And those gags, just get out there early morning and throw some bigger baits, and you should be able to stop them. Captain Michael Dawson, Patriotic Guide Service.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Great job.
I like that beginning shot. And we were, I was just talking to another buddy of mine here of the triple tail. It's coming up on our season here for triple tail. So we're going to try to get out there next couple of weeks and try to see if we can find some triple tail. We've got some big triple tail up here.
Well, but the season for triple tail is now September, October, isn't it?
Yeah. And you can start finding them now, certain places, but it's usually when the stone crab when they start putting out all the pots for stone crab.
Because they got all that gelt that hangs around the buoys.
Yeah, and you just zigzag all through those pots. Yeah, and find those triple tail. So I'm looking forward to it. I love to fish for triple tail. They're really fun. It's one thing I missed when I fished up there at Pensacola. We used to go to Mobile Bay every summer, and it's a bowl there, so there's not a lot of wind, and you're just sweating buckets. But when you're running, but it's hotter than blazes, and you just go from pot to pot to pot and find those triple tail, and it's just so much fun. It really is. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably get out there in the next couple of weeks, probably first week of September, because I've got a busy couple of weeks coming up. So
now, Ron, you get them around where you're at, right?
I don't see many around here. There's probably a few, but they seem to be more on the south end of the bay than the north end.
The Hillsborough River got a few of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're moving. And of course, actually, people don't realize the peak season for cobia fishing is October here in the bay.
Yeah.
That's your peak month. It's for cobia fishing is October in Tampa Bay.
Well, put you a few buoys out there by your dock. Just put a rock on a piece of rope and some buoys hanging out.
Yeah.
You never know. Tell me.
Now, one of the things for years,
shrimp.
the theory was every year that they would only hit shrimp. But I've seen a lot of these shows over the years. Now, they're hitting small greenbacks.
Yeah.
And some small artificials that look like shrimp. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily just shrimp, but it's nice to have shrimp.
Yeah. Well, my goal this year is hopefully I'm going to bring my fly rod, and I want to get one on a fly. So we'll see if that happens, but it's going to be my goal. And they're so powerful. They're so fun. And it's just, I enjoy fishing for them. So,
because we caught a real big one about 2 years ago. Alan Miller, we were out, and there was like an old milk crate, like from Publix or something. It was just floating, and it was coming past us. We were out in the middle of Tampa Bay, and I swear I saw this huge brown thing coming with it, and he got so nervous that he cast it 3 times, and 3 times he just didn't go anywhere because he was so nervous. So I grabbed the rod with a greenback, and I got it in front of him, and he landed him, and it was a big triple tail. Yeah. And he hit a white bait. He hit a pretty good sized white bait too.
Yeah, they'll hit other types of baits. I mean, I've had them hit jigs. If they're hungry, they will chase it. They will find it. Sometimes
I was
here and I'll get out.
And little crabs are going to be their ideal.
Yeah, and that's usually what everybody just throws a shrimp or a little crab to them, but they will hit other things. There's no doubt about it. Hell, I've caught one on a chunk of ladyfish, so they will hit other things other than that. But it's
well, any kind of sight fishing. Sight fishing is always more fun.
It is. It's right up my alley. It's the thing I love to do. I mean, it's what I take my clients to do anyway. So it's really, really fun.
And that's the part that I enjoy. All right, let's see. How about if we get Captain James on?
Yeah, let's go Pensacola.
Pensacola.
Hey, it's Captain James with the Latte Fun Fishing in Pensacola, Florida. Offshore this week has been pretty good. Vermilion snapper are biting. Triggerfish is in season. We've been catching those. A lot of action with amberjack. Mangrove snapper bites been pretty good. And of course, red snapper that we can't keep are biting. But lots of action, lots going on. It is hot. Make sure you're staying hydrated. If you'd like to book a trip with us, please feel free to give us a call. Again, my name's Captain James with the Latte Fun Fishing in Pensacola, Florida.
All right, James, you got triggerfish.
Thanks, James. Yeah.
People love to eat those triggerfish, and the Caimans, that's a delicacy to them, the queen trigger.
Yeah.
I've never, they're just tough to clean, man.
They are. They're a pain in the butt. But I found a trick, and it's basically just turn your knife inside out. I know it feels weird, but you flip it. So in other words, if you get your point in there, you got to get a point in there. And it's actually the same way I do sheep's head and redfish. Get your point in there and turn your knife upside down and and cut from the inside out. And it makes it a lot faster. So you're cutting the inside skin, and it works really, really fast that way. Takes a little practice, but put that knife inside and then cut from the inside out, and it makes it go a lot faster.
I know in the Caimans, with all the fish that they have, and the locals, the queen trigger, they thought it was that was it. That was her thing.
Yeah.
And of course, back in the 1800s, you listen to the stories. The skin they used it for sandpaper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With the skin, they would let it dry, put it on a block, and they used to use the skin for sandpaper because it feels like sandpaper, and when it dries, it's actually sandpaper-like.
Yeah. No, it's tough stuff, but yeah, triggerfish to me is a good delicacy. I mean, it's now you can only keep one. I mean, it's just so goofy. Because I could go out there in Pensacola on some of my private numbers and put a spoon down there, and I'm catching triggerfish left and right, and they decent ones. You can only keep one. So
I guess it's like everything. Everything's getting endangered. Look at amberjack. And I remember back in years ago, we used to go out to Jupiter on the Mako tournaments, and there was one buoy out there that must have had always 300-400 amberjacks. I mean, if things got slow or something, you just pull up to that buoy for the fun of it, and the way in, cast it, and your second cast, you had a reef donkey on that wore you out for 25 minutes. And then all of a sudden, a couple of commercial boats started going out there, and I don't know what they were doing, but a year later, there was nothing. You went to the buoy, not one fish. They were all gone. They just got wiped out. So I'm sure that's what happened. Somebody gets it's like hogfish. Remember, you had to spearfish them. Nobody thought about catching them on a hook and line.
Right.
Everybody started catching them on hook and line. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, we're going to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So they had to put a limit and everything else on them.
Yeah, that's our life now is limits. It's whatever we do, it's just everything's limits.
And then
it's a shame.
We found out at the marina where we're at, and here again, folks, please listen to this. Safety on the water. A doctor, from what I understand, coming around Port Tampa in the dark, early in the morning, he was running full speed with a big Grady White. That there's this like a rock jetty in front of the cement plant off of Port Tampa that just keeps it from washing out the shoreline where the cement plant is. And it's probably, what does it run? 200, 300 feet from shore?
Yeah.
And it runs about a football field long, and it's just underwater rocks at low tide in the winter. They'll stick out of the water up to 2 and 3 feet. But normally this time of the year, even at low tide, one point will stick up about a foot, maybe about 3 or 4 feet of it on one corner. The rest is all underwater at low tide. And apparently this guy must have been coming so fast. He demolished this 30-foot Grady White. And we saw some pictures of Marina shoulders. He got killed. I think his son got killed, and somebody else got killed, right, Ron?
I know he did. I know somebody else.
And I think his son got killed, and then somebody else from him. And when we saw the picture, the whole front was demolished, and the console got ripped off the floor, and it was up towards the front of the boat.
Oh wow!
And I mean,
When did this happen?
a week ago Saturday.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, we didn't hear anything about it up here. Wow.
I heard something about somebody dying in the bay, and then the guy at the marina told us last week, "Oh yeah, it happened right over there." I throw around that's that jetty, that rock jetty right there.
Wow. They don't have any markers on it?
No, because let me put it this way: it runs parallel to the shoreline, and who's going to run through there fast? All that whole area is rocks. I mean, when I go in there, I slow down 50 feet before I get to it, and I work around it, and you can even fish the shoreline for snook in the winter, but you got to be careful because especially in the winter, between that and the shoreline, the water gets down to about 2 feet, and there's out of nowhere, there's a big boulder, just a big rock that you can hit. So
Mike, it's one of those areas. It's almost like it's as crazy as somebody, running aground, on the beach or something. It's like nobody, you don't expect anybody to ever do it. So it's
probably lost, wasn't paying attention to electronics or something. That just
nobody knows.
You can get turned around there at night. I mean, you gotta know where you're going.
I think that's the bigger lesson is don't go out when it's dark.
Yeah.
or if you're going to go out, don't go fast.
Correct. No, you never do. It's like driving in fog. Take your time, slow down, pay attention to everything around you, or have massive spotlights. I mean, really know where you are, know that water very, very well, and then even if you do, still take your time.
Well, you know that there was a captain years ago in the 70s that he knew every rock out of Tarpon Springs on that river. And every time he hit one, he would tell you there's another one. he knew every rock in that river.
That's right up there with the dad jokes there, Sergio.
I think the first year that he was fishing out of Tarpon Springs, he must have learned was about 200 rocks.
Uh-huh.
Yep. All right, let's get Jim Pace in.
Sounds good.
Hey guys, Jim with your Pasco County fishing report. Scallop season shut down last week, and the rain stopped, so I got back out there. Went out a few times last week, had good success all the way around. We'll start with bait. Bait was pretty easy to come by first thing in the morning before daylight and right at daylight. It was pretty stacked in different places. It was definitely a mix. You had small bait, large bait. If you were looking for larger bait, you had to comb through a lot of that small bait to get to it. But all the inshore species that I caught were all pretty keyed on small bait. All the success we had came from small, less than 3-inch white bait. I had to drop down my hook to about a 1.0 just to make sure it wasn't sinking the bait down when it was sitting there. Snook were all sitting in running water, clear water, anywhere you could find them. Some deep slotted areas during the day. They were pretty skinny in the morning if you could get into the areas. If the tide was prohibited, they were sitting right there in that moving water, off of any type of inlet or any type of like trough looking area. On the beaches as well. They're definitely around all over the beaches. Hard bottom in my area in the morning's been kind of good as far as oyster beds, things like that. Redfish have been coming on cut bait during the day. Once it gets hot, you have to push up and try and get them out of those mangroves. They've been sitting kind of tucked in pretty good. When the tide comes up, they're moving up. They're definitely pushed up. They've been hitting small white bait as well. In the morning on the beaches for redfish, we were catching them on small white bait versus larger white bait. They chumming a little bit, not having to really chum too much to get them lived up. Most of the time, first couple baits out, I'll catch them, and then had to move around a little bit after that, and then get into some other ones for redfish. But cut bait's definitely a good key right now. Cut mullet, cut pinfish. Trout. finally got into some good sized trout, and about 4 to 6 foot of water in between like oyster beds, if you could find that, or in between mangroves and the deeper troughs. Chumming a little bit to get them going, and then had great success on trout. Got a couple really good sized ones this time. Definitely in the morning or before 10ish. Once it gets hot, I'm trying to get off the water at 11, and then I'll go back out afternoon bite as well. So either way, it's been incoming tide has been the best tide for me, both ways for all inshore species. But as far as also offshore, we went to the local shallow water rock piles to find gags, because gag season coming up 1st of September. Even though you can only keep 4 per boat now, 2 per person, 4 per boat, I'll probably go out a few times and limit, and then kind of get away from it. I'll do like others have suggested and get on the mangrove bite. That's been pretty good with these smaller white baits, just chumming, getting the mangrove coming up next behind the boat, and then once they're there, you can just pluck them off. You can limit out on mangrove super quick. They don't have to go very deep, 10, 15, 20 feet. Rock piles have been pretty stacked with mangrove, snapper, and gag grouper. But other than that, hopefully I can get out a few times this week as well. I'm trying to get out tomorrow and the day after a few times, and get a new update for you guys and see what's going on out there. But like I said, it's hot, so I'm usually off the water by 11, just because there's no point in sitting around and baking in the sun for nothing, because those fish shut down. Once that water temp gets up there, they shut down. So good luck to everybody that's out there. Have fun, stay safe, and stay out of the sun as much as you can. Wear sunscreen. Take care.
All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Everybody tells you the same thing. Try to keep
the heat. Yeah, get hydrated. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. That's the biggest thing.
We're getting close to where hopefully the weather's going to start cooling down. Even if it just cooled down 3 or 4 degrees, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Well,
this heat index of 105 and 110 stuff is horrible anyway.
It was yesterday, Ron. Yesterday they said 110. I think yesterday the heat index.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Tampa Bay's been around 107 to 112, depending on where you are.
It was 104 over here today in one area. It was 93 degrees, but the heat index was 104.
Mm-hmm. The humidity is so high right now.
Yeah, we need the rain.
No doubt.
Cool us off.
And there's not going to be a lot coming. I'm all excited about next month, man. The grouper season, 30 days, we get to fish for gags.
Yep. And hopefully we get a full 30 days. We're near the end of the month. It's not, trying to struggle, but yeah.
It all depends on the weather. If you have a good month, everybody can get out. But the average guy only gets out on the weekends.
Right.
I mean, you got the captains and all that are getting out during the week, but the average guy, unless he takes off from work, I mean, he's only going on the weekends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, how does that affect party boats as far as gags? Because you only allow 2 per person or 4 per boat, right? So what do they do on a party boat? Because here again, come on, guys, you got 40, 50 people on a party boat.
Right. I don't know if there's a different rule for them or not. Honestly,
You
I don't
get
know.
4 on the boat and that's it. They can't keep any more.
No, I would assume.
Huh? You see,
that's a
this
good
is
question.
the part that I want to get a good translation from FWC. Maybe I'll call one of them, because if they're telling you that, hey, you go out in your boat with your friends and you can only keep, let's say 4 of you guys, it's supposed to be 2 per person, but then it says no, it's 2 per person or 4 per boat. Well, what happens when you go out on a party boat where you got 50 people or 40 people or 30 people?
Yeah, but it may go under commercial rules.
Well, but see that here again, here comes the same old story again.
Mm-hmm.
The local guys is going to get hurt. You get the tourists from up north that come down here, and they get to keep more than we do.
Yeah.
So
Well, again, it's still per person, and maybe that's what it is their limit is per person because they're a party boat. So you're only allowed to keep two per person.
I don't know. I'm going to find
Something I
out.
never looked into.
I'm going to make a call and I'll find out something. All right. We're out of time, guys. We thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't forget to visit Fishing Adventures Florida on YouTube and all our streaming channels.
Yeah.
And look for Captain Mike, Captain Ron, and myself. We're out there. We're going to try to have some fun, especially when the weather cools down.
Exactly.
All right. God bless everybody.
All right, guys. Have a good evening.
Good night. All right, thanks.